on in a flash.
They played the mash.
They played the monster mash.
I'm Luke Summerhays.
I am James J. Miles.
I am Andrew Rice.
I'm James the Jester Stewart.
And you're listening to Monster Mash. Normally it's a podcast about the monsters of Monster Hunter, but today we're having a little look at the news. So, lads, the situation in Syria, what do we think?
Shit.
Yeah, not good, is it? We're not the type to be talking about.
But tonight's main headline, Monster Hunter World for the PS4, Xbox One and PC.
I fucking love the BBC did that one day. Yeah, Monster Hunter World. What are we thinking, lads?
Well, obviously the rumours before we saw anything was, Capcom are working on a PS4 version, it's streamlined, it's for the West, it's a little bit different. And that seems to be pretty much the case.
Yeah, I'm honest. I'll be honest. It's pretty. Don't get me wrong. There's certainly some things like visually that are a bit off on the trailer, like some of the monster designs. But I think what kind of concerns me most is it doesn't feel like it feels like a Monster Hunter skinned game. It doesn't feel like part of the overall series. It feels like it's a game that's wearing the Monster Hunter skin.
See, I thought that as well at first, but Jas shared the trailer for Monster Hunter 4 on the 3DS, and when you look at the trailer, that doesn't look that much like a Monster. It looks nothing like what you ended up playing.
Yeah, I after seeing that and I settled down on it a little bit. But initially when I first saw it, I did not like it at all. Like the whole grapple hook thing, like how does it work? Like it raises so many questions. Like it really wasn't a good trailer.
It felt like Horizon Zero Hunter, basically.
Yeah, but if you put in all the health bars and the meters and the sound effects from Monster Hunter, and you had a hub world and then you selected the hunt and it drops you into this forest, it's not that far off a Monster Hunter game. And we were talking before about how we would want in the next one sort of more seamless movement, more like options of traversal. It looks like it's doing all that, so it might actually be very much a Monster Hunter game.
I mean, the biggest comparison for me would be to like the behemoth hunt in Final Fantasy 15. So I don't know if anyone's played at least a demo of that. Cause
Yeah, I played it.
It feels more like, I know you have, but the other two. But it's more the sort of stalking of the monster. Like it didn't feel like a fight as such. Like a lot of the trailer looked like the hunter was running away through sort of scripted actiony sections rather than a proper hunt. Now obviously I haven't seen that full trailer to compare it to, but the sections of the hunter running away seemed very linear, seemed very much like hit the vine, hit this, and you're going to get through the area, rather than a proper like a fight. Like it never felt like the hunter was on a remotely even ground with that monster. He had to use the environment to beat it almost, which is fine, but that's obviously nowhere near what I'm after for a Monster Hunter game.
On the other hand, he was in like pretty generic armor, so maybe this is just a really early hunt in that game that gives you a few scripted sort of get outs.
I honestly, like, some of it just genuinely didn't feel right. Like, I get what Andy's saying there. Like, it felt more like a stealth game at points. Like, even the small monsters, like, normally in a monster.
Yeah, why would you be running away from like small monsters like they do,
Yeah.
like no damage to you, and he's like sitting there like stealthing up, hiding in the bush, and then they don't spot him. It's kind of, it goes up down, man. I change like hour to hour and what I like and dislike about it, but
yeah, I'm the same. I'm only taking the positive angle because you all seem to.
The biggest one for me is I'm still not convinced about the whole kind of seamless world. Like I've never liked that idea. Like people have always thrown that out in the Monster Hunter community, and I've never liked it. And and now to see them kind of do that, like it's kind of worried that it can make the hunt like really boring. Like if you're just constantly chasing the monster down, like and unable to find it. Whereas when it's zoned off in the current games, you're never going to lose it. You're never ever going to lose the monster. I feel like you're going to be able to lose the monster a lot more in Monster Hunter World.
See, I like that.
I don't see how it's going to be different.
Yeah, it's good points to it, but it's also got some negatives for me.
So the
Well, I
parts
wonder
I mean,
if
if
that's
they
maybe
just-
what those linear sections are more for. Like, maybe that's why they have these linear sections, to have those stage transitions. Maybe it's just in this case they framed it more from the perspective of being chased by the monster. But maybe that's to still keep it with the individual areas to, mix up the hunt as it goes, and that those linear sections are just the transitions between larger open fields. But obviously, this is too early to tell.
It all depends on how big the maps are for each kind of location, because they need to be a specific size. If they're too big, then I think the hunts are going to be a slog, and I just don't want them to be like that.
So the biggest pros for me.
Yeah, but they couldn't stick with those PS2 sort of area
Totally.
transitions in a
I know
PS4
I know
game.
the series has got to evolve, and there is positives. Like I like the fact I do like the whole multi-format thing. Like that is the best thing for the series, going forward in the long term.
I think the biggest pro for me in the trailer as a whole was the kind of traversal aspects, like the seamless sort of world there, and parts of that did seem really neat to me. The biggest thing that I'm concerned about is the combat. One of the big things I really like about Monster Hunter is that the combat is so precise, and while initially it does feel clunky, once you get it, it feels smooth. And you genuinely do feel that you're stringing together combos and focus on your positioning. I feel like it looks dumbed down, which I get is why the whole kind of westernization of all is they are going to dumb it down.
But it is tough because they were using a greatsword in the trailer. Like, greatswords aren't necessarily the most combo-y weapons.
Then you had the fucking machine gun
we did have the machine gun too.
And it's just stuff like
the Lost Planet there, when you see that section.
It was a cinematically edited trailer though, and Gaijin Hunters pointed out that there are it does do animations from existing greatsword moves. So maybe if you had a proper gameplay stream and you had all the health bars and the meters there, it probably is the same old combat we used to with a few extra moves.
What do you make of the drop in drop out multiplayer aspect of it?
I didn't know about that.
I kind of got the idea that was a thing with the flare bit of the trailer, wasn't it?
Yeah. As long as you can still do proper hunts as well.
Yeah, as long as you can start a quest at the same time, I'm kind of okay with it.
It feels, again, very similar to other games. It doesn't feel like its own thing. The first thing that came to mind was it comes across like Anthem, which was shown at E3 as well. That has very similar kind of drop in drop out multiplayer as well. When you're out in the world, and it feels again a Western aspect of the series, bringing into the series, which we'll see how it affects the overall sort of flow. But one thing I really liked about the actual 3DS games that I've played is that you had your 4 lads, you go on a hunt, that's you in for the long haul. Drop in, drop out, whilst, it's great for multiplayer, don't get me wrong, you can just leave and come in and out as you please. I wonder if it'll kind of take something away from the overall sort of hunt.
It also makes me wonder how they're going to balance that, because what someone drops in for the last 5 minutes of the hunt, do they get the same amount of rewards as the person who's been in it for 25-30 minutes? That doesn't seem fair to me. There's already some sections of the community that play the game that there's people who usually hang back at home base and then wait till the hunt's finished and then run and get their cars. There's just this, it's making a really negative playing experience if people are going to do that. That gives them the kind of to just I'm just going to drop into this match and wait for it to end.
Well, that's what I worry about with the hunt structure in general. If it is the sort of more open worldy, free to roam, whatever, you're not meeting up at a hub to fight. That's something that always bothers me about games like, say, Borderlands, where you can drop in, regardless of where you are in the story, but it just doesn't make any sense. Only one person's going to get anything out of those quests, and it just. People could be massively the wrong level, whereas with Monster Hunter as it is right now, we're quite capable of hooking up with anyone, be it that someone who's picked up the game today or someone who's been playing for years. Everyone can enjoy that game, regardless of how far they are through it, and they can still make progress even when it may not be the right level for them. Whereas in those more open worldy type games, you're just going to be helping someone out, babysitting someone almost, rather than getting that full quest progress, I imagine. Or you're going to have to sit there and meet up every single time with the same people, or you're wasting everyone's time. So that's a concern for me.
I think we don't actually know that it is open world. It's just that the maps are seamless. It didn't look like a huge map. Like, I think the maps are going to be a similar size to what they always were, but instead of divided into like 8 small
I
sections,
can't imagine that like
it is
that's the
just
only
that island.
area that they showed it. That's the only area that's going to be in the game.
No,
like
no,
it's
no.
going to be like a big landscape. Like no,
I'm
that'll
sure
be
I
like
saw.
that'll be one location.
I'm sure I saw somebody tweet. I don't know if it was Gaijin Hunter or somebody there that they are doing away with the mission structure, which would
Hmm.
sit well with me personally as well.
Well,
I mean, if they do it as long as there are still individual hunts for individual monsters, it's fine. If they're trying to make it open world, then there's already been a really good Western open world Monster Hunter game, and it's called Witcher 3, and they're not going to top that.
you kind of watch out like for what it's all up in the air because some people are saying one thing and the other section are like saying something else completely different. Because I've heard that, and I think there's the one of the European Monster Hunter community manager, Soxy Bear, like I'm pretty sure he said the same kind of the core loop is still there. It's still quest, hunt, craft.
Mm.
So like that to me,
Yeah,
is still
Capcom's statement said that as well.
yeah.
I
So
can see.
I think the same quest loop is going to be there. I don't think that's going to be any different.
I think a game that's going to be really similar to, and Andy brought up earlier, is elements of Final Fantasy 15 because that game has hunts as well that you can go on. You like go to one of like the like petrol stations out in the world. You'll pick up a bounty. You'll go into a certain area of the world where that monster's meant to inhabit, and you'll hunt. Well, you don't exactly hunt it, like you do in Monster Hunter. There is still like a bit of a kind of core loop there, like go out to the world, go back to the place. You get materials. I can see that sort of loop transferring quite nicely to Monster Hunter. But again, as I said, it's just the overall sort of gameplay I'm concerned about that
The other difference there with Final Fantasy or Witcher or anything else is that it's not just the hunts. Like, there's a
well,
story
yeah,
you're going on, and there's human characters to interact with.
which
Whereas Monster Hunter, it's about hunting the
That could be
monsters.
something
So I don't want
they
to be
could
doing.
add. They could like say they've got like multiple locations in the game, and each one has its own kind of built-in like story. That's
Oh
for
yeah, yeah,
that
I'm up for
location.
that.
Like they could do that.
I don't want to be doing too much faff between
Yeah.
like stabbing dinosaurs.
yeah, as I said, I was the main thing is I'm looking for the gameplay that you're gonna get in Segway time Double Cross, and I hope
Yes.
that makes
So
its way westward, which I'm concerned.
speaking
This
of
is
nobody having a clue what's going on and talking lots of rumours on Twitter, so Monster Hunter Double Cross was not too long ago announced for the Switch in Japan, and we've got a release date as well. I think August, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
August 25th. Yeah.
There we go. Um, so people were hoping to see Monster Hunter Double Cross announced for the West at E3, and Nintendo have not done that just now.
As of yet, there's still the treehouse, so we don't know. But
Yeah, and they have said there's going to be other surprises, but after Monster Hunter World got pride of place in the Sony conference, you'd think Nintendo would want to be shouting like, "Oh, we've got one as well."
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? So the big question: if it doesn't come over here, who is joining me on the Japanese version?
I
Because the Switch is region free and it's pretty
I
easy to download
think I
a game.
would, yeah. I mean, it would take me some
I
time
would
to
as
get
well.
into grips with like all the weapons and all. Well, obviously that's when you have to go to your like your Karanico website and everything like that, and just make sure you're making the right things. But I think the extra faff, so to speak, there would be worth the whole playing it on
The
this.
nice controls and
Yeah,
the
that's it.
HD and
Like
putting it on your
playing with a
TV
pro
and all that.
controller, playing on a television. Um,
Every time we
Yeah,
play
playing
Monster
in
Hunter,
tabletop mode.
that's it.
it does feel like a bit of a chore getting my 3DS out. Stupid as that sounds,
But one of the great things about
but
Double Cross, and one thing that of course would be lacking in Worlds, is that if I don't feel like playing on a television, I can pop my Joy-Cons on and just lie in bed with a Switch.
yep, yeah, that's the one thing that annoyed me about Monster Hunter World is I don't like games that aren't on the Switch anymore. Like, it's only been out like 3 months, but when I sit down and play a game on my Xbox, I'm like, fuck's sake.
Yeah, there's a lot of people
I
like
can't
that.
pick it up and go. I can't.
There have been points
It's
where
such a good console.
I've been like, I think it was Persona 5 was the big one. I was like, I just want to play this in bed. I don't want to like.
Mate, you could do Vita remote play. It's just as simple.
Great. Because I've got 20 Vitas kicking about, don't I?
Even if you got Vita play, kicking about, you still don't want to be doing that. I don't understand the love for remote play at all. Shit. Anyway, but back onto the would you buy thing though. Like, my biggest concern is that I'm pretty sure if we get a Japanese version, we won't be able to import our file from
Yeah, it would be
3DS
brand new characters. Like that would
Like-
be the drawback.
The idea of
Yeah, but
starting
we
again
will
from
smash
scratch
it
is
doing it again.
No, I don't know.
I was going to say, like,
For me, it's pretty
if we all
horrifying.
get it, we just all just jump in and only play the online section of it. And I think we can get through the game fine without having to like find our way through the single player.
I was actually still,
I'd probably play the
yeah,
single
I was
player
gonna say, I was
anyway.
still
So
planning to make a new character.
Yeah, I'd probably like dabble with it, but I wouldn't make it my main priority like I would like with an English version.
I've got the extra thing on top of all you that I do actually want and need to learn to read Japanese. So that's going to be driving me through it a little bit. And enemy of the show, Chris Pengilly, is wanting to pick up Monster Hunter Double Cross.
Enemy of the show.
So I'm going to be trying to teach him. So look out for Monster Mash Double Chris coming soon to a YouTube near you.
Like going back to Monster Hunter World, I want to say as well, like the other thing I didn't like about it, like the trailer lacked like any of like the humour of the Monster Hunter games.
Yeah,
and the
what
kind
Yeah,
of,
even
The
Like,
fucking
it looked-
cooking music.
visually as well, like visually as well, it was like quite kind of drab and dreary, like
yeah,
Monster
even
Hunter's
the
a
monster
colourful game.
designs.
like and
The
it's-
monsters
it
they
had none of
showed looked like pretty generic dinosaurs from like Peter Jackson's King Kong or something.
Did feel kind of
There
like
was no
ripples
weirdness,
I
no
watched
bright colours.
the trailer a few times though, like and see like that main monster like that pops the thing out of its like front of his nose. At what other points as well, while he was chasing the hunter, it seemed like it sprouts like wings at some point. So
Yeah,
it looks like
I've
an
got a
interesting
feel-
monster.
Yeah.
I think that might just be another case of this is a trailer for Sony's E3 stage. They want to try and look cool and mature. Like a lot of the time, early trailers for Monster Hunter games just show a cool looking dinosaur, a fight, dramatic music, and it's later on they start showing you cats.
I mean,
and
I
music
wonder
and-
if but the point is that they showed the barbecue at the end, right? So I'm wondering if that is them making a point. This is a serious one. We aren't going to be doing the jokey, silly stuff on this one. This is a serious game for mature teens.
Just people
whatever.
who are only
someone-
on PlayStation 4s. and 4K
some people
experiences.
from the team tweeted like it does have cats, it does have this, it does have that. So I don't think it's going to be a completely
I'd say like the whole
po-faced.
cooking the meat thing is like it's the opposite of what you said there, Andy. It's actually like kind of reinforcing that it will have that humour.
But then why
Yeah, it still
wouldn't
must
they put the music on? That's the thing.
Yeah, that's odd. Yeah, Gaijin Hunter fixed that though.
I just have to have my phone next to me with the music, and every time I cook meat, just well, on both cases, it's just wait and see.
Yeah.
We might still get an announcement of Double Cross for the West,
Yeah,
and
we're
if we
gonna
don't,
look like right mugs if we watch a trio stream like later tonight, and it's like, oh yeah, Double Cross for the West.
It's kind of weird though. Like I don't see like Capcom like announcing it on the Treehouse like for some reason. Like it seems like they would want to do it at their own event.
You reckon?
Yeah,
What
because I think if it was like if like I don't get it. Like if it was going to be there, I think it would have been in the spotlight. Perfect place for it.
yeah,
Yeah.
But-
seems a bit weird now.
And an answer to what event, Andy? It's going to be the Street Fighter 5 CAPCOM Pro Tour. We'll just unveil it at the end.
Of course, of course.
Fucking Ryu player wins.
But if not,
and then monsters.
we're playing Japanese,
Yeah.
and I'm seriously considering trading my Xbox, getting PS4 to play Monster Hunter with you guys. So that would be what finally breaks the camel's back.
Suck a dick, Microsoft. Sony wins.
Oh, there's one more bit of Monster Hunter news that we forgot to mention.
Oh, right.
Monster Hunter showed up in the Marvel vs. Capcom
Yeah, that
trailer.
was rumored. He's going to be a character like a Monster Hunter in the. That was to discuss a while back when they had a kind of a leak roster, and then
But I think the bit they showed was like
fucking
Dan
Darren
Moran
Moran
bursting out of
turning up.
sand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Top tier.
That's I mean, at the end of the day, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite wasn't the fighter to be looking at E3. It's fucking Dragon Ball.
No.
Wasn't it?
All about arms.
Dragon Ball.
It's all about Pokken Deluxe.
Fucking Goku.
Right. Well, if for some reason you listen to that and you don't normally listen to us, we normally do a podcast where we just talk about monster hunters and we talk about a monster each week.
Mm-hmm.
So follow us on Twitter at MonsterMashPod and subscribe to us on YouTube. Look us up on iTunes, all of that business. We've just recently done an episode on the Kirin, and next week is going to be the Shagaru Magala. So if you're into that shit, get on it, lads.
Yes. And while you're at it, also tweet at AndyMan949. This is for no reason, we've not mentioned this at all in the episode, but please tweet him a picture of Gary Barlow on a roundabout. And thank you for listening to this nonsense. Thank you!
See ya!